Today's episode is brought to you by the Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. Find out more at canbyfoursquare.com or on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11 a.m.
This episode is also brought to you by Odd Moe's Pizza in Canby. Handmade, awesome pizza as well as craft beer and cider delivered. Call them today at 503-266-8444.
This tax exemption eludes me like a gazelle eludes an arthritic cat.
Why can't Canby people keep track of their dogs? Like, what is...
To do that, you can't be stupid with guns.
Yeah.
So the board is saying they want to make Canby schools great again.
It feels like we've been doing this interview for years.
Inside of me was screaming.
You run for school board, you win or you die.
There's no second place. Welcome to the Canby Now podcast.
We are the best and easiest way to stay connected to what's happening in your hometown. I'm Tyler Franke.
And I'm Tyler Clausen. The Cougs are the best public school volleyball team in the state. And the Cougars proved that at the state tournament in Hillsborough this weekend, defeating West Lynn on Saturday to claim third place in 6A volleyball. The two teams ahead of them, eventual champion Jesuit and runner-up Central Catholic, are both private schools. The Cougs came into the playoffs seemingly determined to prove that they were better than their seeding of 11th overall. They swept number 22 Grant in the opening round, then upset 6th-ranked Sprague in 5 sets, punching their tickets to their first state tourney in 10 years. In the quarterfinal, the Cougs would again be the underdogs as they faced off against number 3 Mountainside, and their ultimate victory would not go without drama as the Cougs had to stage a furious comeback after falling behind 2-0. But Canby refused to quit, and they rattled off 3 straight victories in a gymnasium that virtually felt like a home game, with one section of bleachers packed with Cougar fans, and with Central Catholic faithfully joining in as well. Because everybody loves an underdog. I mean, maybe except for Mountainside. Fittingly, Central Catholic would be Canby's semifinals opponents. The Cougs pulled ahead 2-1 and were leading for part of the 5th and decisive set, but ultimately fell to the 2nd-ranked Rams. The Cougars battled hard to the very end, falling only 6 points short of their first state final appearance in school history. In their final game of the season, the girls were evidently tired of 5-set matches. They needed only 3 to dispatch their Three Rivers League rivals, West Lynn. It was an exclamation point on the Cougars' season-long demonstration that they belonged in the conversation about the top volleyball programs in the state. This team has come a long way this season as far as being a team, head coach TJ Schlatter said afterwards. There are multiple girls playing out of position and many role players, and they have accepted it for the good of the team's success. They are fighters and they have a heart the size of Canby, which has grown from the support of the community and students this season. Junior Daley McLellan was named to the all-tournament first team, while senior Ruby Kayser received second team honors. Stay tuned after the Canby conversation today as Ruby and Daley join us to talk about their phenomenal postseason run. As the efforts to revitalize downtown Canby intensify, one project that's poised to literally change the local landscape is the construction of the Gateway Arch into downtown Canby at the Grant Street intersection. City councilors in their role as commissioners of the Urban Renewal Agency got their first look in August at designs for the new monument proposed by Scott Edwards Architecture. The ultimate direction councilors chose was to blend 2 of the design concepts featuring flagstone pillars in a uniquely Pacific Northwestern style already in use in downtown core, and an archway heavily inspired by the iconic Encinitas Archway in Encinitas, California. Last week, the council got their first look at this redesigned concept with new renderings presented at the city's urban renewal meeting on Wednesday. The architects brought day and night renderings as well as mock-ups showing the arch amidst the new signage and infrastructure that would be installed as part of the Downtown Railroad Quiet Zone, another urban renewal project. This had been requested by Councilor Greg Parker, who said he wanted to see the city what the city was really getting as opposed to an idealized representation on paper. Councilors were unanimous in their enthusiasm for the design, particularly the LED lighting, which would spotlight the pillars, arch, and Canby sign while shining twin beacons into the sky. Councilor Sarah Spoon was among those who praised this new addition.
No, thank you for bringing the ones with it lit. It's really a reminder of how it's really going to invite people into downtown when downtown is dark right now, that it looks like if you're driving by and you see that after dark, you think, oh, I bet there's a place to have dinner over there. I bet there's a place to do something over there. And so I think that that's really helpful for our community to envision its value for the town. So thank you for doing that. I really like the way that you kind of merged all of our ideas together into this. I think it's great. Yeah.
Councilor Parker was thrilled about certain features that had not been highlighted by the Scott Edwards during their previous presentation. The ability to change the color of the monument's lighting via remote control. This could be used for the holidays, city events, and other observances.
I've seen that on the Tillicum Bridge in Portland, and they changed that. I did not know we were going to get this. I like this. I've always thought, for example, on home games that we could put the blue and gold up there to honor our football team and other things like that. And also the thing that I like about bringing that technology to Canby is that for years you've heard me talk about wanting to uplight the logging road bridge. Right. And by bringing this type of technology to town, I hope it'll stimulate some people's thinking.
Preliminary construction estimates for the project are $240,600 financed through the Urban Renewal Funds. This figure includes insurance, bonding, and a 10% contingency. Council President Tim Dale, who also serves as chair of the Urban Renewal Agency, said they plan to put the project out for bid in January. They also hope to coordinate construction with the installation of the quiet zone improvements. Well, this is a terrifying story, but fortunately it has a happy ending. A 2-year-old Molalla girl was located safe and sound in an extremely remote part of the Molalla River recreational area last week, thanks to local logging crews as well as a woman on horseback and her 2 dogs. At approximately 11:19 a.m. Thursday, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office was notified about the girl who went missing on BLM lands in the Molalla River area about 10 miles south of Molalla. The girl, Iris Nix, went missing on a walk with her grandmother, Galia Ann J., who was also a Molalla resident. Galia told the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office that her granddaughter had run up the trail and out of sight. While trying to catch up to her, Galia came to a 4-way split in the trail and didn't know where Iris was. After searching for 15 minutes, Galia sought out help. There was a very limited cellular reception in the area, which made the search and rescue operation all the more difficult. Multiple people who called in the missing child had to leave the area to find cell phone reception before being able to call 911. Several sheriff's office deputies and Molalla police officers responded to the area, along with search and rescue coordinators. The grandmother had also flagged down several passing logging crews who stopped and began to scour the area in an effort to find Iris. Residents in the area also spontaneously stepped up to help, among them Tammy Stevens, 59, of Beaver Creek. Tammy was riding her horse Bo on the Molalla River Recreation Area trail along with her 2 dogs, miniature Australian shepherds named Wilson and Maddie. When Tammy heard that there was a missing 2-year-old in the area, she immediately joined the search, scouting the terrain on horseback, flanked by her 2 dogs. Here's Tammy explaining what happened next in a video interview released by the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office.
Well, as soon as I got on the trail, I passed several people, and they informed me of the little girl's name, and I just kind of followed instinct and really felt where would this person be, and it's pretty heavily traveled over where the north and south trails come together. Yeah. So I just headed in that direction, and after about 20 minutes, I heard crying. So I said to Wilson, go get her, show me the way, and he did. So I made it to the bridge right at the North Trails and could hear Iris. I couldn't see her. Okay. So, and Wilson was climbing for her. So I tied Bo up and then climbed really steep, super steep, about 70 feet. And there she was. Wow. And she was pretty upset.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes later, Tammy found Dave, a logger who had been out searching as well. Dave was able to bring Iris to where the deputies and medical personnel were staged. Iris was checked out by paramedics with McLellan Fire and reunited with her family. Oglo may be a no-go. The future of the proposed pedestrian bicycle bridge across the Willamette River between unincorporated Oak Grove and Lake Oswego, also known as the Oglo Bridge, appears to be in doubt after a decision by the Lake Oswego City Council last Thursday to withdraw from any further involvement with the project. The bridge would be built in the 10-mile stretch that currently has no river crossing between the Sellwood Bridge in Portland and the Arch Bridge in Oregon City. It would turn what could be between a 20 to 45-minute car ride, depending on traffic, into a 15-minute trip by bicycle. The cost of the bridge is estimated at between $30 and $50 million, depending on the final alignment and design that the county leaders ultimately settle on. The project has been in the county's transportation system plan since 2013 and had enjoyed public support until recently. But in a county hearing last month, commissioners said public support has soured in the wake of an attempt by Metro to introduce light rail to the project, which would double its costs and bring new motor vehicle traffic that local residents didn't want. At this point, basically, nobody in Lake Oswego wants anything to do with the project, at least according to Mayor Kent Studebaker.
I don't see any reason to do this project. It's strongly opposed by most of the people in Lake Oswego. It's a waste of money. It could end up, look at the Telecom Bridge, it ended up at $134 million. That's a waste of money, waste of time. It's very little benefit for our citizens. So I am very much in favor of this motion.
Councillor John Lamotte had a problem with what he characterized as a deeply flawed process up to this point, including a lack of communication with the surrounding neighborhoods and other stakeholders.
We were told that transit option, an idea to run buses across this bridge, were added into the last minute, then pulled out. But when Commissioner Savis brought up the idea of water taxi feasibility, should we study that, he was told, no, you can't do that. We can't do that now. Why couldn't we study the water taxi? It hasn't been vetted. It's successful all over the world. So the process has been flawed, as we heard from our elected officials earlier. We heard from some that it was rushed and hushed, so it was not a robust process. I'm a city planner by training, and process is job one.
Councillor Jackie Manns seemed to take a bit of a different view on the support of the project. Though she also voted in favor of the motion to withdraw support, she said that she does believe the bridge will be built someday.
What I can promise to you in not supporting going forward at this point in time with the Oglo Bridge is that I am committed to working on our pathways and trails within Lake Oswego in order that when, and I believe that the bridge will be built at some point, I honestly do, because I know there are passionate people out there, we will have safe, sane connections for folks to come over the bridge in Lake Oswego and see our beautiful town.
The policy committee for the Oak Grove Lake Oswego Ped Bike Bridge project, which had been made up of one elected official from each of the four partner agencies, Clackamas County, City of Lake Oswego, City of Milwaukee, and Metro, is charged with determining the feasibility of the bridge and whether or not the project should move forward. With the withdrawal of Lake Oswego, the project team will be reaching out to the policy committee members to plan next steps. The county says more information will be posted to the project website at clackamas.us/transportation/oglo, OGLO, once it is available. Canby sent 9 runners to the state cross-country finals at Lane Community College this weekend, and 5 seniors, Isabella Kasalik, Jennifer Torres, Kalia Rose, Emma Yulvin, and Matthew Powell, recorded personal bests in their final races. The Canby women's cross-country team, which qualified by finishing 3rd in their Three Rivers League finals, came in 15th overall in state out of 21 teams competing. It was the fastest state cross-country finals in OSAA history, led by Summit senior Fiona Max, who broke the state high school record with her time of 16 minutes, 51.8 seconds. In other sports news, Three Rivers League coach voted on league awards recently, and several Canby athletes received honors. In men's soccer, senior Zach Heidema received the Goalkeeper of the Year award for his spectacular play in the net this season. Junior Francisco Cabello also named to first-team All-League as a midfielder, though he played nearly every position for the Cougars this season. Of the Cougars' 15 goals, Francisco scored 7 goals and recorded 2 assists. The team relied on him to start the offense and at times hold the midfield defensively. Senior captain Ian Quinlan was named second-team All-League for the 3rd consecutive year. In football, junior receiver Chance Miller made All-League first team after a highlight-filled season in which he cemented himself as one of the state's most dynamic players. Senior linebacker Logan Doman was also honored on the second team. For a full list of league awards for all fall sports, including honorable mentions, visit our website, cambynowpod.com. Congratulations to all of our Canby athletes for a fantastic season. Thanks for having us along for the ride. We'll see you in the winter. The great outdoors. Sometimes you just gotta get away to a place where life is simpler. The air is clean and the nearest ringing phone is about a million miles away. One of the best places that we found is My Cowboy Cabin near Joseph, Oregon, in the heart of the Eagle Cap Wilderness.
Eagle Cap is the largest unspoiled wilderness area in Oregon, with breathtaking views of granite mountains and crystal clear lakes, and more than 500 miles of trails to explore. It's one of the premier hiking, fishing, and hunting destinations in the Pacific Northwest. My Cowboy Cabin is open from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend and can be reserved on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on availability. With a cabin that sleeps up to 8 people,
and also a teepee that sleeps 8 or more.
That's right. It's perfect for family vacations, retreats, reunions, and more. Find out more at mycowboycabin.com.
True story. When we first started the Canby Now podcast, we were looking to buy some stickers. Just something to help us get our name out there. We didn't have a lot of money, so we tried to do everything as cheaply as possible online. We wound up with 1,000 of these teeny tiny cheap looking stickers. Not exactly the impressive swag we were hoping for, but you know, you get what you pay for.
Yes, you do. If we had been smart, we would have gone to see Carrie at Promotional Strategies. She's a real live human and a creative genius who will deliver practical, strategic ways to promote your business on any budget. If you're looking for high quality swag that you can be proud to see your logo on, Promotional Strategies is where you want to go. Find them at 695 Southeast 1st Avenue in Canby or online at ps266swag.com. So we have Ed Grotsky here, and now here at the studios in Canby, and he had a poem that he wanted to read for Veterans Day. It's called Why.
Why did you leave home and friends, comfort and safety, so I could be protected? I don't know, but thank you. Why did you put yourself in danger, injury and death always a possibility, so I could be free? I don't know, but thank you. Thank you, veteran. Thank you.
I love to study our nation's history through the lens of our military veterans. These stories are a critical component of our national heritage. They give color and weight to the tapestry that tells the story of America. Who could fail to be inspired by the brash courage of the United States Marines during the Battle of Belleau Wood in World War I? Or by the words of Marine Captain Lloyd Williams, who, after being repeatedly urged to turn back by retreating French forces, said, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here." Legend has it that it was at this battle that the Marines earned the German nickname Teufelshund, devil dogs. What about the story of Private First Class Dirk J. Vlug, serving in the Philippines during World War II, who refused to back down despite being outnumbered 5-1? No, it wasn't 1 against 5 enemy soldiers. It was 1 soldier against 5 heavily armed Japanese tanks. Reacting on instinct, the private grabbed a bazooka and 6 rounds of ammunition and managed to destroy all 5 tanks single-handedly. I still get goosebumps when I read the words of Lieutenant General Chesty Puller, the most decorated Marine in American history, when he and his men were surrounded by enemy forces at the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. They're on our left, they're on our right, they're in front of us, they're behind us. We got them right where we want them. They can't get away this time. Or the story of Master Sergeant Roy Benavides, who jumped from a helicopter, armed only with a knife, determined to help a Special Forces patrol trapped in North Vietnam. Over the course of a 6-hour ordeal, Benavides was wounded by bullets, bayonets, and shrapnel a total of 37 times. When he was awarded the Medal of Honor, President Reagan said that if his story were a movie script, audiences would not believe it. His heroic actions saved the lives of 8 men. In Iraq, Sergeant Leanne Hester became the first woman awarded the Silver Star since World War II. A retail store manager from Kentucky, Hester led the counter-assault against 50 insurgents who attacked her convoy, braving heavy mortar and machine gun fire to engage the enemy on foot. These stories of courage, selflessness, and sacrifice are so much more than just stories to tell on Veterans Day. They are a crucial part of our nation's history and the foundation upon which its legacy has been built. Countless millions of American lives, with more to come, have been lived in the freedoms secured by the blood and service of our veterans. Despite this rich history of military service that continues to this day, our country has not drafted a single soldier in over 45 years. Since the draft ended in 1973, no person has been compelled to serve our country. And yet each year an estimated 180,000 young Americans voluntarily enlist in the United States Armed Forces. One of the many things that makes this country so great is that its people have the will to serve. They have the will to lay down their own freedoms and even their own lives to defend those of others. Our veterans didn't have to be told to serve or to sacrifice. It was already there in their DNA. That's why it's so important to honor, remember, and celebrate our veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every day. And it's not only because they've earned it, though they have, but it's also because in honoring and remembering our veterans, we reveal the values that matter to us as a nation: courage, sacrifice, selflessness, dedication, the willingness to give up one's own life so that others might live and be free, which we call heroism. We reveal ourselves and our values in what we remember and in what we give our time to. This Veterans Day, I encourage you to spend your time in a meaningful way. Say thank you to a veteran, yes, but also take some time to hear their story. I guarantee you, it's a story you won't hear anywhere else. Well, my guest on the Canby Conversation today, I'm honored to be sitting here in the home of Clark and Linda Hickman. Clark, better known as Doc. He is a Korean War Marine veteran and recently had a really cool trip, honor flight trip that he's going to tell us about as well. But I wanted to start, Doc, by just welcoming you onto the show.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And how did you come by the nickname Doc?
Well, when I was born, I was a blue baby.
Oh, okay.
3 doctors worked on me: a Dr. Clark, a Dr. Warren, and a Dr. Douglas. Uh-huh. And they all wanted my folks to name me after them. Finally, Dr. Douglas said, forget me. So my real name is Clark, and my middle name is Warren, after those 2 doctors.
There you go. And then your nickname is Doc after all the rest.
If I walked down the street and somebody said, hey, Doc, I'd probably keep right on walking.
Yeah.
Because I haven't, I just been by Doc ever since birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Where were you born?
Seattle, Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We didn't live there long, so I consider myself an Oregonian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rather consider myself an Oregonian than Seattle, for sure. And so you grew up here?
Yeah, I went to high school at Beaverton.
Okay.
And graduated from there. And I went in the Marine Corps in 1953.
Out of high school?
Well, I worked for about a year first.
Okay.
And I got out of high school in 51.
Decided you were tired of that.
Yeah.
Was the war on then?
The Korean War was, yes.
Yeah.
And then out of boot camp in 1953, they made me a drill instructor.
Oh, wow.
Right out of boot camp.
Uh-huh.
There was, I think, 6 of us out of our platoon that they made drill instructors, and I was one of them. And then I was there for a year at San Diego, and then I went to Japan, and I was there about a year, and then I got transferred out of the outfit I was in to the 3rd Marine Division Rifle and Pistol Team, which was a mistake because the outfit I got transferred out of got transferred to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
So anyhow, I was in Korea one night, and we went by Korea picking up troops that were coming home from Korea back to the States. So that was my one night in Korea. And everybody says, well, that was enough. Then we got back to the States, and after I got off the rifle team, I was in a guard company at Long Beach, California at the Naval Shipyard. And while we were there, we had a lot of parades and ceremonies and whatnot. When Disneyland opened in 1955, I was in the color guard that led the parade. And then later on, they had a deal called Audience Award Contest. And the audience picked awards like the Academy Awards and whatnot. And we were there. We were on the stage. Eddie Fisher sang the Star Spangled Banner. Grace Kelly was there. Just like the Academy Awards, all the dignitaries were there. Then this little guy says, come on to the bar, boys, I'll buy you a drink. And it was George Goebel.
Oh, wow. That's quite a story.
He was a character. But I was only in 3 years. If I'd have known then what I know now, I think I'd have stayed in.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing. Kids nowadays, you got free housing, free medical, free food, and 30 days a year off. You add all that up, it adds up to a lot of money. You know, if you had to put money out for those same things. So that's one of the reasons I probably would have stayed in if I was thinking ahead, but I wanted to get out. That's it.
So it ends up being a pretty good deal for you financially, is what you're saying.
Well, when I was in, my first paycheck was $53.
Oh, wow.
For the month.
Don't spend it all in one place, right?
Yeah, really. Yeah, it wasn't much then. Now, I don't know what it is. It's quite a bit better. Yeah. But this honor flight, we were in Central Oregon, and I put in for it. Then we moved over here, and it's a different deal here. They go by different districts. Central Oregon is Deschutes County, Crook County, and one other county. I can't remember what it is.
Well, real quick, let's just tell folks who may not be familiar. I'm sure most people are, but the Honor Flight program is obviously a nonprofit where they provide plane rides to veterans. I think it might have started with World War II, but it's now expanded to Korean War veterans. To fly them out for free of charge to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials. In the case of World War II, you know, the World War II Memorial, Korea Memorial, and basically give you guys who earned those memorials and created these victories for us a chance to see and appreciate that gratitude that our country has to you.
There was 25 of us on the flight, and 12 of them were in wheelchairs, and 13 of us could still get around. Luckily enough, I could still get around. Each one of us had a guardian.
So you were just carrying them down, I think. Is that how it worked? You were just carrying the others on your shoulder, something like that.
Anyhow, each one of us had a guardian, and the one I had was a firefighter from Tualatin Valley Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue.
Oh, okay, from out here.
Yeah, he was the nicest kid. He was a lot of help too. He didn't just help me, but when they always put the handicapped up in the front. So then when the bus stopped or the plane stopped, they got off, got the wheelchairs for him, and he got wheelchair. He helped them in the wheelchairs, and just excellent help. In fact, he wouldn't even let me carry that when he said, "Give me that, let me carry it."
So what you're talking about is this
that little bag,
this bag that you got. So you let me just explain to everybody. I come in here at Hope Village, meet Linda in person. I talked to her on the phone. Meet you, Doc. Doc is wearing this very cool shirt, the Honor Flight Portland Korean Veteran shirt. You've got your Korea Veteran hat, and then this incredible spread that you laid out on your I guess, dining room table, but Linda said it's a puzzle table, really. But all this really cool stuff that we'll talk about and explain, but it looks amazing, and I just get the sense that this trip was quite the highlight for you. You were really excited to talk to me about it. So, yeah. Anyway, so tell us about the bag.
Well, when we got there, that was the first thing we got, and it had the hat in it, a couple T-shirts, and some toiletries, and the 3 flags, and just miscellaneous items that we might need.
The small flags.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of like a goodie bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when we got back in Washington, D.C., when we were at the Second World War Memorial, we got the flag that was flown over the White House.
Can we see it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's in this box that I thought initially was a shoebox.
Oh, no.
But I'm going to open it here, and there's a flag.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Somebody took it out and turned it over.
Oh, yeah. Where are the stars?
Well, they're on the other side. They aren't either.
There's a little bit.
Yeah.
Who folded this, Doc? Come on.
I don't know. It wasn't me. That's the way it was in the box. I'm going to get a holder for it.
There's probably some stars in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yep.
That's crazy. So this flew over the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each one of us got one.
And you were saying you don't know how they did it, if they do them one by one or if they do like 100 at a time. So
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, this one flew. That one flew. Yeah. Very cool.
So that's how that was.
Texture-wise, it's kind of a lot thicker and coarser than you might think.
Feels like it, yeah.
The commercially available flags don't really feel like that.
And then we got the certificate with it. That one's been signed by, well, you can see them there.
Yeah, it's got Senator Wyden and Merkley. Oh, and
Bonamici,
3 Congress
Blumenauer, and Schroeder.
Mm-hmm.
All signed it, and then there's another one here on the back. Supposed to be. Maybe I didn't get it, but it says it was authorized, certified that it actually did fly over the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about these.
Well, when I first got there, my guardian came in, and he says, the kids made you some cards. The little girl was 8, the little boy was 10. There's the one the little girl made. She's 8. Hang on.
That is so cute.
I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
I would say that is a nuclear rainbow explosion.
Something.
It is lots of color, lots of smiley faces, just lots of love. There's a heart in there. It says from Amelia.
Yep.
So these are just cards that kids made for you and the other veterans that were able to take this trip.
Well, that one was...
Yeah, I really have no idea. What is that, like a person with antlers? Like
I'm not sure. This is the one the little boy made. He just turned 10. And then he wrote that poem.
Oh my goodness, a poem. We haven't had a poetry on the show in a while. Okay, from every head to toe, beyond every limit, life is never perfect, but there are so many things you can make good in it. Thank you for your service in the military. I don't know if I did the rhyme, the meter, the way that he would have wanted.
And he drew the pictures on it and everything.
I did my best, Alex.
Yep.
Very, very cool. How does that make you feel?
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty nice of him.
Yeah.
And then these others came. And then when we were there, just before we left, the guy from the VFW came in and he gave us these medals.
The challenge coins, is that
right?
Yeah. So can you tell people what challenge coins are?
Well, that's a Korean one there.
Uh-huh.
And get it straightened out.
It says, welcome home, Korean War veteran.
And then when we got back to Washington, D.C., one of the men was from Portland Police Department.
Oh, okay.
And he gave us these.
Yeah. Maintaining the vigil since 1942. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, it says Portland Police Association, we got your 6. That's cool. Awesome.
So that was kind of interesting. He gave those all out and everything.
Yeah.
And but our schedule for the week, or for the few days, this was the first day. The second day was all this. This was Thursday.
Good grief, Doc. I don't even jam that much stuff into my days.
Well, we got there Thursday night.
Uh-huh.
The plane got in Kansas City, and we had to switch planes. Well, the other plane wasn't there yet. We had to wait 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
For the other plane. Finally, it got there. Well, when we got to Washington, D.C., we were late.
Yeah.
So they didn't have dinner for us.
Yeah.
So they had box lunches.
Yeah.
And they weren't too bad.
Okay, you probably had worse in the military.
Yeah. And then we were getting up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
For all this. Well, it was 3 in the morning our time, because they're ahead of us 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I really didn't notice that change in time.
Yeah.
Because of you were going to bed 3 hours earlier.
Sure.
But the second day,
had a lot of excitement.
We went to the World War II Memorial, the Capitol Building, Lincoln Memorial, and then the next day we went to the Korean Memorial, Vietnam War Memorial, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial, Navy Memorial, Air Force Memorial, Iwo Jima Memorial, and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Mm-hmm. And they set a wreath there at that.
Yeah.
And they had their changing of the guard there. Quite interesting.
Yeah.
Quite a few people around watching.
Doc, can you describe how it felt seeing those memorials? I mean, I've been to Washington, D.C. I feel fortunate to have seen them as well. I'm from East Coast originally, but I never served in the military.
Yeah.
It's different as a civilian seeing those, I'm sure, as opposed to someone who actually served.
Quite interesting, for one thing, and then a lot of the guys that had, like Second World War Memorial, or Second World War veterans, and I think there was only 6 of us that had been in Korea, and only 2 Marines. Me and the other gal that she's in with the honor flight committee that helps get this all together.
Yeah.
She was the other Marine there.
Yeah.
And but it was pretty touching, some of them.
Yeah.
We got to the Korean Memorial, and one of the ranger came in, and he explained it. He was good, boy. He had it down. Just every word perfect.
Yeah.
And like I say, it was really interesting to
told the
hear
history
him.
and stuff.
And, and explained who did it, why they did it, how they did it, and everything like that. And then on the wall, I don't know if you can see it on here. There's this wall here behind them. There's etchings on it.
Oh, okay.
And hang on a second. And those etchings were of actual pictures of servicemen. And you could see them, but one of the women took a picture of them and sent it to me. There's the Second World War Memorial there. I'll have to find a Korean one. It's back here a ways.
Doc's showing me some pictures on his cell phone here.
Oh, there it is. That was part of it there.
Yeah.
And then there's that wall, and there are those figures that were etched into that wall.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But they really came out great on that, when she took that picture, and then there's that wreath.
Yeah.
And then this is the kid that went with me. He got a medal. He saved a family.
Wow, cool.
He saved a little girl, her mother, her father, and a cat. He said the cat wasn't too interested. He had to hold it like a bagpipe.
Hopefully not squeeze it like a bagpipe.
Yeah. But I think that of all of them, I think I was more interested in the Korean Memorial than I was any of the others.
Yeah.
The Air Force Memorial was kind of interesting. It had these pillars that went up like that. There was 3 of them. And I don't know if there's one, probably is one in here of it. No, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Anyhow, It was like 3 jet planes had gone up.
Oh, cool.
And they told us if that memorial would have been done when they crashed into the Pentagon, it would have took it down. And then we could see the Pentagon from right there.
Yeah.
And it had been, all fixed and everything.
Yeah. One thing that you hear sometimes or often said about the Korean War is it's a little bit of the forgotten war.
Right.
And the veterans feel that way. Can you explain that?
Well, it was a war, like a lot of these others we have, were just kind of, there it is there.
That is cool.
That was
showing me the Air Force Memorial.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyhow, well, I don't know why they called it that, because we were over there trying to help another country. And, then when we got back, when the veterans got back, they just, hey, you're back, big deal. About it.
Yeah. Not quite the, nationwide celebrations and things from the World War II, which had only been, 5 or 6 years earlier.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was an excellent trip. I'm glad I got to go. Yeah, it was really worthwhile.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyhow,
in terms of just obviously, Doc, no offense, you guys in the Korean War and World War II, getting older, getting up there.
That's right. Yeah.
I know particularly the World War II veterans are that population is disappearing at an alarming rate.
I forget how many a day die.
I think it's
quite
around 20,000. Like, it's crazy.
It's a bunch.
Yeah.
There was one guy there, and he was 97.
Yeah.
And he was the oldest one there.
I was going to say that might be one of the younger ones. Yeah.
No. I think I was probably one of the younger ones. I'm 87. And, and I was in there. I went in right at the end of the Korean War.
Yeah.
It was over that year. I was in the first year I was in.
Yeah.
So that was in 53.
Yeah. And you said you only served one day?
Well, that was on the way home. Yeah. We stopped there and picked troops up that were going home.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
you caught the very end of the war.
Yes, I'm sure they appreciated going home.
Basically, as soon as Doc enlisted, North Korea was like, we give up. Like, we're done.
I think it was over.
once you and your other Marine buddies showed up, they're like, okay, we give.
I think it was over in August or September of 53.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I mean, it ended with an armistice,
right,
which officially never stopped. I mean, there was never really officially a treaty or an end of hostilities. There was just the armistice,
Yeah.
Which is why we still have the DMZ and the tension between North and South Korea.
Yeah, and they still have it.
So in terms of, those, especially those two generations now getting older, and what do you think we can do, like us younger folks, to kind of keep that memory and that legacy alive? What would you have, sort of pass on to us, Doc?
Well, I don't know. I think like Veterans Days and these days that, they have things for veterans, Memorial Day, and a lot of times I'll wear a shirt or the hat, and people come up and thank you for your service and all that.
Does that mean something to you, or does it feel trite?
It does.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Good.
In fact, I was at Fred Meyer the other day, and a little old lady came up to me. She said, well, thank you for your service. And I said, yeah, I was in blah, blah, blah. I told her. And she said, well, I read an article in the paper about somebody. I said, well, that was me.
There you go.
And her husband was in Korea at one time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, I say, well, I didn't really do much during the Korean War. But people say, well, you did. You were training people, the basic things that they had to know before they got in on it, the whole works. Yeah. So I figured I did my part.
I think you did. And I don't see any profit in sort of saying, this person contributed this or that. Like anyone who served, who did that training, made those sacrifices, left home, and went over there with the willingness to even make the ultimate sacrifice. That's what really matters,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
That's those choices that you make. That's all you really have control of. You don't have control over what battles you're in or what ends up happening over there.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those kids that came into boot camp, they'd never left home.
Yeah.
And their mother always did their laundry for them and made their beds and cooked their meals, and a little different once they got in boot camp.
Yeah.
But we were teaching them the basics of how to take care of yourself and, clean your own clothes and on and on. And everybody said, well, yeah, but you're so hard on them.
Yeah.
Well, that keeps them busy and they don't think anything else.
Yeah. You've got that great voice, Doc. Were you like one of those boot camp guys that would just, yell at people, put them in their place, yell at the recruits?
I tell people I think I got the job done. Yeah.
I bet you did.
And I wouldn't make them do something that I couldn't do. Of course, I'd just gone through it all.
Right.
So I knew what was going to be expected.
Yeah.
So if they had to do something they didn't like, I was sure that I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, kind of show them, hey, it can be done.
Yeah. Was that just a job for you? Just like that was your job at that time, and then you sort of left that behind? Or do you ever find, like, in later years, like, that would come back and, like, somebody at work would drop something and be like, Judy, what's wrong with you? Or,
Well, after I got out, I got in a drum and bugle corps.
Oh, okay.
And I was a drill instructor for them.
Oh, there you go.
Teach them their routine on the field and everything.
Still had an outlet
Then
for
I
it.
worked with junior drum corps. I worked with a Naval Cadets Corps. There in Portland, they were getting ready to go to, I think they were in the Rose Parade one year. And they weren't too sure on, how good they were going to get. So I worked with them a couple times and helped them, get things straightened out and whatnot. And then when we were in Southern Oregon, I worked with young Marines down there at McLellan. And they had an organization there, Young Marines, and I think they were 12 to 21. And worked with them on their drill and whatnot. Yeah. But I don't know, I always liked the drill part of it, the marching and maneuvering. And I was in quite a few. I was in the Rose Parade 2 or 3 times and different parades all over. We were in a parade in Sheridan one time. And this kid, the Marine Corps had a color guard there, and this one guy come up to me and says, "Your name Hickman?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you're my drill instructor."
Doc, would you be able to give us a little sample of what Drill Sergeant Hickman might sound like? Give us a little.
Well, it's been a few years.
Well, I think you still got it, though.
Yeah. Well, first thing you had to do was call them with attention, and we didn't say march. It was,
yeah.
Forward, and then off they'd go, and all you did, you counted cadence for them.
Yeah.
And in those days, you didn't use the left, right as much as you used 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
So as they were marching, I'd 1, 3, 3, 4, 1, and then once in a while I'd throw a letter in, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But,
what did the call to attention sound like?
Hut.
I just jumped a little bit. Yeah, you still got it, Doc.
But see, when they fell in, they're supposed to fall into attention, so you usually didn't have to call them to attention.
Gotcha.
You did give them a right face or a left face and forward march.
Yeah.
And off they went. Yeah.
You guys do the oorah? Is that?
Well, we didn't do that when I was in. I don't think that started afterwards.
Newer.
I went to
Vietnam, maybe.
To a reunion. Oh, I can't. It's been probably what? Oh, I guess she left. Probably 10 years ago, drill instructors reunion.
Okay.
And some of those guys are doing it, but when I went on the base, I had to show my ID card. Well, I showed them the one I got the day I went in.
Yeah.
And they looked at it, "What's this?" And I said, "That's my ID card." She said, "Well, I wasn't even born then." And most of them weren't. You know, it's been quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it's changed a lot since I was in there. And but I enjoyed being. The thing I enjoyed about being a drill instructor was not so much bossing men around, was the difference that they made from the day they got there till the day they got out.
Seeing that improvement.
Changed a lot of attitudes, because some of them had a pretty bad attitude when they got there, and we kind of straightened that out for them. And But
that's cool. That must feel rewarding.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
And the 3 years I was in, I can't really complain about any of it. One of the things, I had a military driver's license, and I would post the guard. And well, one day they had a fire. Every time there was a fire call, we had to get 6 guys in a pickup, go down to wherever it was, and keep crowds back. Well, instead of going 3 blocks up and a half a block over and 3 blocks back down, I just went through a one-way street the wrong way to half a block to get there earlier.
Yeah.
The officer of the day saw me, turned me in, they took my driver's license. So I stood gate guard again.
Yeah.
I didn't really care, it wasn't that big a deal, but then I went home on liberty. Then I came back, company commander wanted to see me, and I thought, oh, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
Went up there, he pulls his desk drawer, I was a corporal then, pulls his desk drawer open, he says, here, Sergeant, you're going to drive for General Pepper tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
But one thing about General Pepper, he had inspected us when we were in Japan, and they just walked down the rank, and everybody comes up to inspection arms real quick and back down to port arm, I can't remember what it was now. Anyhow, when I did that, he stopped, came back, and he said, where'd you learn how to do that? And I said, well, I was a drill instructor, sir. He remembered that a year later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He mentioned it when I was driving him around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting on his part.
Yeah.
He was quite the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other cool or funny stories from your service that you'd like to tell?
I think that's probably, well, at Disneyland, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then that Academy Awards with George Gobel, he was a character. He was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's, come on, boys, I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, yeah, that was pretty much what I did while I was in.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Doc,
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
taking time out to tell us about your trip and about your service and just some of your thoughts. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you for drawing me to attention, because I need that sometimes. I get distracted. So happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service.
I was in the drum corps with Ken Buckles' dad.
Yeah.
And he was just a little kid then.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
But he remembers, like I used to come out to practice all the time. He can remember all the songs we played, one right after another. Yeah, he remembers all that.
Ken does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
In fact, I may see him the night they're having kind of a get together over there at Wilsonville at one of the places, and he may show up there. I don't know. Yeah.
He usually shows up wherever there's veterans around.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done a lot for veterans.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a memorial for this has been about a couple months ago, I guess, and it was for the oldest living Congressional Medal Honor winner. He had passed away.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Bob Maxwell.
Bob Maxwell. Thank you. Yes.
I went to his memorial there at Redmond. They had it at the fairgrounds, and there was about 2,000 people there at that memorial. It was quite a deal, yeah. Very interesting. But I talked to Bob a few times because he was in that band of brothers there at Bend.
Yeah.
And he'd come to the meetings every Monday, and I got talking to him, and he said he jumped on a hand grenade is what he did.
Yeah.
And he said he couldn't hear anything for about 6 weeks. So, but he never bragged about him doing it and getting a Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
But he was the nicest guy.
Yeah. No, and that's incredible bravery that he did. He just jumped. He wasn't wearing body armor or anything. Just he grabbed a blanket, and jumped on a live grenade,
right?
And it exploded, and he survived. But saved the lives of probably 20 people.
Right.
Yeah.
More than 1.2 million Americans receive internet, TV, and telephone services from community cooperatives like Direct Link. They believe that their role revolves around partnerships, whether sponsoring a local event, hosting educational classes, or investing in fiber internet technology. Direct Link is here for our community because they are a part of our community.
Beyond just working in Canby, most of DirectLink's employees live here as well. DirectLink's investment in the local area reaches past business interests and extends into the everyday lives of neighbors, friends, and families. Visit them online at directlink.coop to learn more about their communication services and community activities. Hey Tyler, did you know that the world has changed in the past 20 years?
No way!
Yep, it's true. The way people shop for goods and services has completely changed since this thing called the internet started catching on.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And yet some realtors still offer the same old services in the same old ways and for the same old percentages. Victory Point Property Group in Canby believes it's time the real estate business caught up with the times. They'll meet with you for free, explain every step of the process, give you a clear game plan, and even let you choose the listing commission.
Really? They let you choose their commission?
Really, Victory Point Property Group understands this is one of the biggest and most exciting decisions of your life, and they'll do everything they can to make sure you handle it like a rock star.
Wow, that sounds great. I'm going to check them out by calling 503-263-4700 or by visiting online at victorypointhomes.com.
You do that. Victory Point Property Group, real estate reimagined. So, what did you accomplish this weekend? Anything? Because joining me on the line now are two Canby High students who spent their weekend messing around at the state tournament, competing very well, I might add, against 3 of the top 5 teams in the state. They come home with a third-place trophy, which is only the best finish in the history of the Canby volleyball team program. I'm very pleased to welcome 2 of the best volleyballers in the state, Canby's Ruby Kayser and Daley McLellan. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, obvious question, how do you guys feel?
We feel great.
Yeah.
Today, obviously a little sore.
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of still on that high from yesterday, and we were super happy with our finish and still very, very excited about what we've accomplished.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's pretty surreal, like for me at least, like being a senior, and it definitely wasn't a goal that I necessarily, like if you asked me before the season, would have thought was attainable. So
really?
I think kind of like unreal right now. Just like I feel so great, and like the community, like just like seeing everyone there and stuff like that was really like, that was kind of what put it over the edge for me. Like I just can't even. It feels like kind of like a dream, I guess. Like, did that really happen?
Sure. So that Ruby, you're a senior. Daley, you're a junior.
Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. So coming into the season, like you weren't necessarily thinking, okay, we're going to be, absolutely playing in the semifinals at the end of this year.
Right.
Yeah. What was your goal for the season?
Well, I think like while we've both been in high school, we have lost first round of playoffs like every single year. And so for me, I think my biggest goal was just to like win that first round game. And then like as we started to like climb up the numbers like during our league play, and it started to become more of like an attainable goal. Like, okay, I think we're competing with some of these like top teams in tournaments. Like we should be at Liberty. So I think like once we got into the playoffs and we were like ranked, I think 11th going in, I think we all started to like make our goals a little bit bigger and start like, we want to be at Liberty. We want to be at the state finals. Like we want to be like in that tournament. So I think that was like our next biggest goal.
Yeah. And after we knocked out the last year's runner up, Sprague, I feel like that gave us a lot of confidence in going to the state playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. So that happened second round. You guys basically had 2 upsets in a row and then narrowly pulled off another one, a third one with Central Catholic. But, I mean, to me, watching, like, more from the outside, like, it felt very much like you guys came into the playoffs seated 11th, and then, like you said, like, you're going toe-to-toe against top, second-ranked, third-ranked, fourth-ranked teams in the state and just holding your own, whether you win, lose, or draw. But it felt very much like you had a little bit of a chip or just a little bit like we want to prove that we're better than this 11th-ranked seeding.
Yes. Yeah, I think definitely, like, especially for me, Daley, and Caitlin, like, being some of the, like, leaders on the floor, like, we wanted to prove, like, we should be at Liberty and we should be competing with these teams. Like, we're good players and we have a good team. Like, we wanted to, like you said, like a chip on our shoulder. Like we wanted to prove that we deserved to be there, and it wasn't a fluke that we got into the state tournament. So.
Yeah, cool. What about you, Ruby?
Oh, that was me.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said me, Daley. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, sorry about that. It's hard on the phone sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into the tournament, we knew we had nothing to lose. And we knew that we had such a great season. Why not end it on a high note and give it our all for for some of our seniors the last time they're even gonna play. So I think we just wanted to really make it special and just kind of give it our all. And we're here, so why not make the most of it?
So that I think to me, like, the high point of drama had to be that quarterfinal game against Mountainside. So just to paint the story a little bit, because I love, you know, the storytelling aspect of sports. But it's third ranked team in the state. They even have like an intimidating name, right? Like Mountainside. You know, you guys get in a 2-0 hole in sets. So they're just one away from knocking you out into the consolation round. And that the second set especially, like, they seem to, you know, handle you guys pretty well.
Yes, that set especially.
Yeah. So I know, you know, I was following on Twitter and stuff, and there are a lot of people, okay, like rally time coming. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, you know, this is probably the end of the road for these guys. What was going through your head? And then obviously you came back hard, rattled off 3 straight wins. How did that happen?
Yeah.
I think I kind of talked to Jarek Wiley after that game and told him, like,
Canby Herald sports reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just told him, like, yeah, I think everyone probably in the stands when we were losing 0-17 was like, oh, this is over. Like, it's so sad. Like, whatever. But
and no shame in it. They're the 3rd best team in the state. Like, yeah.
Right. But, like, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, okay, this is not looking good for Canby. And I just, like, in my head, and I think, like, as a team, we kind of think this way. We're like, oh, my gosh, like, what would be more fitting for our team than if we won this game? Like, I think just, like, something so special about our team is that nobody gives up. Like, it's really rare for, like, even, like, top-level club teams and top-level teams in the state, like, to lose 2 sets in a row and then still have like the mindset to come back and win 3. Like I think that's like the most special thing about our team is that we come out and we're competing no matter what. Like it's 0-17. We're still working so hard to get that side out. Like we're not just going to fold over and like let them have the win. Like we were, and I think like you said, we were so determined to like prove that we deserve to be there. We weren't going to like let it happen. And I think just like getting used to the gym and getting used to like a team we had never played like was kind of a factor in that. And then we started to get more comfortable and more confident, even though we were, I don't know how you gain confidence from losing 0-7, but somehow we did. And just coming out and being like, we're playing for each other, we're proving that we need to be here, like we're not giving up. And I don't know, I think that's like a characteristic of our team that's kind of hard to describe, but
yeah, and it just proves that we're more mentally tough than other teams are. And yes, we're down 0-17. Yes, we may have lost that set, but we just forget about it as a team, and we're just like, okay, this is right now. We're focusing on the next point, and we kind of just forget about like if we lost a set or not. So. Yeah.
Well, it was very inspiring for sure. I mean, I hope you know that, like at that point, like, you know, it becomes more than just a volleyball game to me. Like it's not that kind of determination and that kind of grit and that just never give up attitude is something that's obviously like broadly applicable outside of volleyball or even just outside of sports. Like that's something that really has meaning and inspiration to people in this community that are following you guys, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I mean, I imagine that was a big part of the comeback and really just this whole experience as well. You've talked about it a little bit, but the community has just rallied behind you guys, even outside of the school, and that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think like the coolest part for me and like for the team was just like walking in. We were upstairs warming up, so we hadn't been in the gym yet. We hadn't seen like what it was like. And so walking into the gym and just seeing like the flood of blue and gold in the stands.
It was so cool.
Like the whole gym was packed. Like not only our fans, which was like so heartwarming, but like Mountainside had a huge student section, Sunset, Central Catholic, like the gym was packed and it was loud. And like, I think that was something that like we talked about as a team, like it's going to be a really different atmosphere for us. So like we need to kind of be ready for that and think quick on our feet, like not let it like affect us super fast. But like even Daley and I talked about it before, like as like leaders on the team, like people look to us and we don't want to show, like we want to show that we have confidence at all times. And like there were points in that set where it felt like my head was underwater. Like it was just like the sounds of like the gym were like deafening. And I was like, everyone on the court was like pushing through that. Like we could not hear each other at all on the floor, like calling the plays, doing all that stuff. Like you could not hear anything. I could be screaming at the top of my lungs and my teammate right next to me couldn't hear me.
Yeah.
And so I think like, even though that was like kind of hard to play through, it was such a cool experience just because like seeing like these like all these students and like seeing all the underclassmen that came and like all of our friends who had been following us all season, and then like all these like other community members, like I know the superintendent, our principal, like all these like adults, like all of our friends' parents were there, not only our friends, like, and so I think just like being there and like seeing like how proud our community and our school and like everyone was of us, like kind of gave us like a sense of like, okay, we need to like get this job done for them.
To show them.
And I think that was like one of the things after the second set, like even though we had just got our butts handed to us, we're like, we need to give these people a better game. Like they came here to watch us play and support us. Like we talked about it as a team.
All
like,
the way to Hillsboro. I mean, come on.
I know.
The traffic? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Well, and like even after we won that game and we had the next game at 6:30, all of our friends are like hanging out in Hillsboro all day, waiting for 6:30 because they don't want to drive home because of the traffic. So they're like, the whole Canby student section is like at Top Golf for 10 hours or whatever. And games, like, I don't know, just like the commitment from them and the commitment from us. And like,
it's really special.
So we were the whole gym is lined up ready to do the national anthem, and the speaker isn't working. Like they say, this is the national anthem, stand, remove your hats, whatever. Everyone's standing and there's nothing playing. And our student section starts singing the national anthem. And then the whole gym follows them, and like
give us goosebumps.
That was like one of the most memorable things. Like just, I think one of the boys just starts singing the national anthem and then everyone followed, and it was kind of like a tear-jerking moment, I think, for everyone in the gym. And just like, I don't know, I think it just shows like Canby's true colors, and I don't know, it was really special for us.
Yeah, we're super thankful to have all the love and support.
Yeah, I think when they make the movie version, that's definitely going to be like one of the more inspiring parts. Will be that right there.
It felt like it was a movie. I was like, is this happening right now? Like,
yeah, no, total. I mean, especially like I said, that Mountainside game, like it does feel very much like a movie. You know, that's when the coach gives the inspiring like halftime speech, and you know, the piano music like really kicks up, and then there's a montage of you guys like kicking butt. I mean, it writes itself. So.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, you guys took home third place, which is awesome. You, like we said, very inspiring. You guys definitely deserve some rest here over the next few days. But I just want to talk real quick about what's next for you guys. Ruby, obviously senior, played your last volleyball game, sadly, at Canby High, but you're going on to a Division I career, as I understand it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Like, I think it's been definitely something I haven't really had time to be sad about high school volleyball, just because like I've been so determined, like making it to Liberty and then playing it, and I'm just like my heart is just so full after the weekend that I can't even like have time to be sad about it.
Yeah.
And like it's definitely been like I've been a varsity starter for 4 years. Like I think it's just been like it's been a huge part of my life and something that I'll never forget, but I'm definitely like excited for the next step. I'm going to Colorado State as a libero. I'm actually signing this Wednesday, so I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
And yeah, they're having a great season this year. They're ranked 13th now in the country, so I'm super excited to go there and like be a part of that legacy in that program. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you talk about kind of the culture shock of stepping into Liberty High in the quarter or semifinals, like Division I athletics.
I know, and they have what's something that's like so cool, and I think like something that we loved about like high school volleyball is like we had a student section at every single game. Like they would travel with us, and our home games were always packed. And Colorado State is also like their volleyball is known for that, which is kind of cool because volleyball is not really like normally the most popular sport out of college, but they can have like 3,000 fans at a game. Like they really pack this huge, it's like a arena like Gill at Oregon State, and they just pack it for volleyball games. And so I think that'll be something that like I got a little taste of it in Canby, getting the Cougar Den all packed up for a game, and I'll get to go do it on the big stage next year. So
cool. And you have an incredible legacy and memories made that you're leaving here, Ruby, with the the highest finish, as we mentioned, in the history of the volleyball program, and you're a big part of that, and that's really cool to be able to leave something like that. I mean, I think back to my high school years and like, oh, I think I might have graffitied like a wall or something. Nothing. There's definitely no trophies with my name on them. So
yeah, I think it's definitely something really special, and I'm glad that I could be a part of it for the team, and I'm glad that like I could help our team achieve this goal and like have this experience for the community. And it's definitely something I'll never forget, and it's really cool like getting that trophy and like knowing like my name's going to be on that plaque, and it's definitely going to be a memory for a lot of kids at the high school. So
cool. Daley, anything to add before we go?
Let
you have the final word or
I
words.
do have the final word.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just super proud of how far we've come as a team.
You should be.
Looking at our first tournament this season versus our state tournament, it's just insane how much we've improved and how much we've filled our roles. And hey, this is like the cards we're dealt with, and it's just really impressive how we've handled ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're kind of the Cinderella story.
Yeah.
For this tournament, and yeah, I'm super happy with how we finished, and it was super special to give our community that experience and our teammates and the seniors, and it was just a really great ending to a really good season.
Yeah, a phenomenal season from both of you guys. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication this year, and wish you, Ruby, the best of luck at Colorado State, and Daley leading Canby next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was that good?
No. Like, am I supposed to pretend that sounds good?
I looked out of your face, you're like, should I just keep a straight face or what?
I wouldn't even strike that. I'd just leave it on there.
Well, as you can hear, we are here at a very special place in Canby, the Canby Music Store. That was the owner, Brian Haynes, giving us a little intro to the segment. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
And we're also here with Taylor Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, I almost forgot. And we're just here to talk about a couple of new things going on at the store. Why don't you take us away, Brian?
Yeah, so I guess first and foremost, Taylor is...
It's a sad occasion. I brought some tissues and...
Yeah, it is a sad occasion. He's been here for 6 years, and that's longer than anybody besides myself has been here, and was an integral part of so many things, and really made the store grow, and... we've had a lot of good times together.
For sure. I think a lot of customers that wouldn't associate the store with you it'd be Taylor. I mean, it'd be one or the other.
Sure.
You guys have both been here for so long.
I mean, all you got to do is look at reviews online and stuff. People, mention him by name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, Taylor, you want to tell us what's going on?
Yeah. So, my wife and I have made the decision to move down to San Antonio.
Okay.
So we, my wife has some health stuff up here that bad allergies that have kind of gotten the best of her, and we've tried our best, and so that's one big reason for moving down there.
Yeah, where nothing grows or stays alive. So.
Including people, right? No. So we're both going to be in the music industry as well, which is nice. I always want to stay in the music industry, and that's really important for both of us. She hasn't actually really had a chance to work the industry much, but we both went to college for music and want to continue in that direction.
Cool. Good for you guys, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best in your next step of your journey.
Yeah. It's been a good run here, though. It's, we've accomplished a lot. We've, there's a rental fleet now that is reputable. The repairs are reputable. We have Nathan taking my place as far as repairs and handling a lot of that rental fleet stuff, too. And it's been really good. Nathan's been doing a great job at it, and surprised me a lot along the way at how fast he can learn how to do something very well.
Cool.
So.
And Nathan's going to be taking the mantle for store security as well.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah, because I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm too old for that. No, but yeah, Nathan's been here, it's got to be about 9 months now. And really got a taste of it over the summer with schools, fleet of instruments coming in here and going through all that stuff, and then having the band rental season, and so we're in a good place.
Cool. Well, let's just talk a little bit as well about the store. I think folks that don't have kids in the school district, or maybe aren't at that age yet, like mine, they're still a little younger, might think that this is just the place that you go to get or rent instruments, but that's not even like the biggest part of business, really.
And that's the funny thing is it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
And so the beginnings of the store was more guitar and drums and stuff like that, and doing a lot of those private lessons and selling those kind of instruments. And so, yes, I do a lot of guitar lessons, ukulele, bass, drums, folk instruments like banjo, mandolin and stuff like that. And so all those are going on, and
that's a crazy amount of instruments. That's really cool.
Yeah, most of them are they're strings.
Similar,
Sure. It's not like, trying to pick up the banjo when you're playing guitar. Yeah, there's a little bit of learning curve, but it's not like going from the guitar to the clarinet or something.
Sure, that makes sense.
So yeah,
I mean, it might be for me because I'm so musically inept, but for someone that knows what they're doing, yeah.
But I also offer kazoo lessons just for you.
I will be your first customer.
So so that's what I did for years, and then I had met Taylor not too long after he was out of high school, kind of on a fluke. Actually, I should tell that story.
Yeah.
So I used to play in bands and play in clubs and stuff around here before I got too busy, and I will go back to doing that someday. But back then, we were going to have a rare band rehearsal, which once again didn't work out because one of the members called and said they were sick last minute. And so me and the other guy that had already got there, we were sitting around and going, huh? And I said, well, there's this open jam that somebody I know hosts that keeps trying to get me to come out there. So maybe we should go out there and do that. And he said, okay, sure. And he's like, is there beer involved? So then we go over to this place and do that, and Taylor and actually Zoe was there too.
Zoe was there.
They had like a group that they played a couple songs, and so we're sitting there, and then we get up and play, and I think Mike, the guy I was with, he's like, sure could use some saxophone on this next song. And Taylor comes running up and played, and we talked to him afterwards, and introduced ourselves and all that. And then maybe like a week later or something, he stopped by the store and said hi. And one thing led to another. I was needing somebody to work I think just one day a week, on Saturdays, and so we started doing that.
Yeah,
and it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, I get the feeling Taylor's very shy, not one to really step forward.
Right, I mean,
put himself out there at all. So.
I mean, it was like pulling teeth.
I know. I really get that feeling.
You don't have to ask me twice.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great story. I feel very like I'm, sitting at a VH1 behind the music here. Yeah. So this is just.
Well, it's funny because so if the one band member of mine didn't have a cold that day, it would have been who knows where everybody would be at right now.
History.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he should get sick more often, I guess.
Yeah. So I remember showing up here and having a conversation with Brian, and then I think it was later that night he sent me a Facebook message and said, "Hey, do you want a gig on Friday?"
That's right. Yeah, because we were down a person. I'm like, hey, throw a saxophone in there and you can do some solos.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, saxophone goes in a lot of songs. Like
Well, yeah. So it's nice because basically, whatever the appropriate solo time is, you just look at the saxophone player and say, "Play."
Right. Do a thing.
And that'll stop. We're gonna sing again.
Yeah. Nice.
I think I remember playing so many sour notes that night too. Being embarrassed, I remember sitting there playing and messing so much stuff up because I wasn't familiar with any of the music.
Sure.
I wasn't the most competent player at that point either. So I've grown a lot as a player since, and I went to college in between all of that as well while working at the store. I mean, Brian allowed me to work. We worked around my crazy college schedule here for a couple years as well.
Awesome. Yeah, really cool. So if folks want to try lessons here or get some more information, how can they
so they can always just stop by the store or call. We do lessons 6 days a week, every day but Sunday. All the hours at the store is open, and actually more hours in the store is open. I tend to do lessons quite a bit past the time that we close because most people need to do lessons in the afternoon.
Work and stuff. Sure.
So do lots of lessons. In fact, I tallied up. It's probably been a couple of years by now, but a couple of years ago I tallied up, and it was about 20,000 private lessons that I've done.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Right, and most of them for the kazoo. So.
Right, which makes it's easy money.
Yeah. It's basically just you and Mr. Rogers that are in that gig. So. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much.
You are welcome.
So I'm here with Derek Hill, president of Advantage Mortgage in Canby. I was wondering what's going on in the mortgage industry right now.
The mortgage industry is on fire right now. The big thing that's really exciting for us is that we are now an independent mortgage broker, which means that we can offer substantially lower rates and lower fees for our customers. For example, we just got a loan last week, and the realtor said, "Hey, I think you should go talk to Derek at Advantage Mortgage." And sure enough, we got the borrower 3/4 better rate, and we saved him $14,000 in fees.
Cool. So where can people find you?
So office number is 503-266-5800, or they can find us on the web at findtheadvantage.com. But most people just give us a holler or they stop in.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Derek.
You bet. Advantage Mortgage, NMLS number 1770599. Derek Hill's NMLS number 50183. Equal housing opportunity.
The Canby Now podcast is a production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
The Canby Now podcast is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
Huge thank you as well to our supporters on Patreon. We rely on your monthly contributions to continue to do this work that we seriously love. For information on how you can become one of the coolest people in the world, a patron of the Canby Now podcast, visit cambynowpod.com/plus.